Where's the record?
Welcome to the WAG Sports Podcast. This is number 30. Let's go. Number 30. The date is
Big Spanish
222.
word.
2222.
I see WAG's been studying.
2222. This only happens once every 100 years, and we're doing a podcast on that day. So I think that's pretty neat.
Kanye's dropping on 2/22/22.
There's a lot of NFL news unrelated to the playoffs. We're going to talk about the playoffs later this week because you got the bye week in between the Super Bowl when we're filming this right now. The Bengals and the Rams are in the Super Bowl, and that's pretty much all we're going to say about it.
Tune into next podcast. You'll get way more.
Yeah, tune in next time to hear from divisional to Super Bowl, all of that. We're previewing. We're doing all of that stuff at once. Should we do a Super Bowl pregame show, depending on when your guys' game is on Sunday? We could do it live from WAG's house.
Live from WAG's house? Who knows?
Yeah.
We could
That
see.
would be pretty sick. A lot of news. The football team is not the football team. Tom Brady retired. Big Ben retired.
Lawsuit.
Coach hires. Let's start at the top. Let's start with Big Ben and Tom Brady retiring. Big Ben was kind of expected. Same with Tom, but Big
Tom
Ben
wasn't
honestly,
expected till the end of the season.
I mean, I feel bad for Big Ben because it's just gonna be oh my God, Tom Brady, he's the GOAT weekend because Big Ben's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't care what you say, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. But then the GOAT is a whole different story. We could go over all the stats if we wanted to of how great Tom Brady is and was in the NFL, was at this point, I guess. 35 playoff wins. That, in my opinion, is the most impressive one. He's the leader.
The most impressive one is definitely the 6 receiving yards.
Yeah.
But some of his are untouchable. I think the passing yards will get caught. Joe Shiesty, if he wins the Super Bowl, he's already got 4 playoff wins. So watch out, Tom.
Back already.
35 is a lot of playoff wins. He made, if you eliminate the his ACL tear and his rookie year, his starting years, you could call them, he made it to the Super Bowl 50% of the time in those years. He won.
Larry called him a bust.
Yeah, pick 199, a bust. I don't think we'll ever see another Tom Brady.
No, we won't.
And obviously, if you're a sports fan, if you're listening to this podcast, you already know people have been talking about it. You know how great Tom Brady was.
Yeah.
So today we got True, Finn, and me. Emmett will be doing our podcast tomorrow, not today, which means we'll also be doing hockey tomorrow. Yeah. So we're going to be doing some baseball. We're going to be unboxing a baseball hat. Yeah, we got a lot of fun stuff going on today. But
also could run down the standings in basketball because
basketball all-star rosters. We'll be talking about that. Might go over betting. No, all right, we're not supposed to talk about playoffs, so we can't go over Super Bowl betting lines until tomorrow. Let's see. All right, head coaching hire. All right, Sean Payton retired too. He's also a Hall of Fame coach.
Head coach.
I think the Falcons might win the division next year in the NFC South.
You're smoking something.
No, I'm serious. Because, it's the Panthers or the Falcons, I think. Unless Rodgers – the NFC is dead. We can also talk about that. The NFC is dead. Actually, I don't know. I don't know if we can really talk about that.
Who knows?
But the
Maybe
NFC is
Rodgers
dead.
pulls a Favre and goes to the Vikings.
If Rodgers goes to the AFC, the NFC is officially dead. Rodgers obviously not doing as well as he wanted to. But yeah, Sean Payton retired, so the Saints are dead. The Bucks are dead. Let's see. So some head coaching hires. These have
What'd you say?
become
I'm on.
they have become controversial. Obviously with Brian Flores suing the NFL, but Brian Dable, probably the most controversial one to this point. He was the Bills OC. He's now the Giants head coach.
Yep.
The Packers OC, I forgot his name, but he is now the Broncos head coach.
Special team guy is now the
which special
the
teams
Bills OC.
guy? Oh yeah,
The Packers.
Josh McDaniels is now the Raiders head coach. Part of the Patriots organization, Patriots OC. Let's see what else. Who else had a coaching? All right, the Vikings are probably going to hire the Rams OC. It's looking like Kevin O'Connell. Let's see. And then Brian Flores, obviously a very controversial firing.
Yeah.
All right, Dan Quinn stayed with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I think Dan Quinn could be a head coach. I mean, obviously the Falcons Super Bowl is obviously what we will always be remembered for. But Super Bowl collapse 28-3. Great Tom Brady moment. But I think he did a great job this year with the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, Dak Prescott, was that divisional round? No, it wasn't. So we can talk about that.
It was wild card.
Yeah, it was wild card. So yeah, Dak messing up. I mean, that's not really Dan Quinn's fault. It was offense. So yeah. But Brian Flores, I think what it's sounding like is, so I didn't know this, but apparently the Dolphins owner told him he would pay Brian Flores $100,000 extra a game if they lost it, which is terrible, and that guy should be kicked out of the league, in my opinion. Just my humble opinion, But that sounds like that's part of it. But the main thing is that it's a class action lawsuit against the NFL saying that that he wasn't hired over race. Obviously, Bill Belichick text messages. Bill messed up there. But yeah, I think Brian Flores should get a job. This is gonna make it kind of difficult for him to get a job, but I think I don't know if they'll have. I mean, the tanking thing from the Dolphins head coach is obviously an issue, but I don't know if there's any like racist discrimination. I think there is, but I don't know if they have enough to like actually win the lawsuit.
Yeah.
But he's obviously qualified. Led the Dolphins no offense to the Dolphins, but like not a great roster to an 8-8 record. Almost made the playoffs. Let's see. Is there anything else we need to talk about? All right, the Commanders, the Commies.
Yeah.
The Washington football team is now the Washington Commanders, also known as the Washington Commies. That might be a bit controversial. People were ripping the Commanders on social media earlier today when they dropped their uniforms and their new name, because it is 2222. So what do you guys think of the new name?
It's
I
weird.
think the name is all right. There were some better options.
They could have done way better with the name options.
The logo looks like they made it over one night, and it doesn't really look that different or cool. The jerseys
are the best part of their whole rebrand.
Are you guys going to get any Commies gear?
I might get the red jersey if Gibson, because I'm going to draft Antonio Gibson again this year as like a later round pick, and if he does good again, I'll get a Gibson jersey.
All right, good to know. But that's pretty much all the non-playoff football news. But that was a lot. It was a lot of news. kind of breeze through it. But
And it happened in like all over a week. So
yeah, it's all been kind of over the last week. Aaron Rodgers, we still don't exactly know what's going to happen there. I think he's going to take his time with it, though. Obviously, a disappointing loss at home that we'll talk more about tomorrow. Let's move on to the NBA basketball. Draymond Green got injured. Obviously, as a Warriors fan, that hurts. It hurts to see one of your guys go down. So obviously that kind of sucked. But
Klay Thompson kind of clutched though against the Nets, right? They had was it against the Nets?
I think it was against the
Spurs.
Yeah.
The Spurs.
Spurs. Wait, no,
Yeah.
Thompson wasn't playing against the Spurs.
Yeah, he was.
It's the Jazz. Wait, he was?
Oh, no, he was. He scored 5 points. He hit a likely game-sealing 3 and then 2 game-sealing free throws.
So Finn, you want to run down the standings in the NBA?
Will for you. In the Eastern Conference, we got the Bulls at 1. 76ers have came back and they're at 2. The Heat have fallen off a bit, 3-game losing streak, are back down to 3rd. The Cavs, no one saw this from them. I'll say it. They're in 4th. The reigning NBA champions, Bucks, in 5th. The Nets on a 5-game losing streak in 6th. The Hornets pulling it back in 7th. The Raptors in 8th. The Celtics finally kind of getting stuff together at 9th, and the Hawks round out the play-in at 10th. In the Western, we got the Suns, just 11-game win streak really just sums up the way their season's been going. We got the Warriors in 2nd, trailing behind. The Grizzlies somehow coming out of nowhere in 3rd. The Jazz, 5-game losing streak starting to fall off in 4th. Losing Joe Ingles is a big problem too.
Hey,
the
he's a cool dude.
5th.
We love Joe Ingles.
Doesn't have a medal. The Nuggets in 6th. The T-Wolves in 7th. The Clippers in 8th. The LeBron Lakers, who are under 3 games under 500, in 9th. The Trailblazers in 10th. And then, as a pity, shout out to my Kings. They are in 13th.
Hey, where are the Pelicans, Finn?
11th.
Yeah.
The Western Conference is so bad. The Blazers are 9 games under 500, and they're somehow in 10th in the play-in.
It was the exact opposite last season. It was the Eastern Conference that was really bad.
The Eastern Conference is still really bad.
Yeah. But I wrote my notes down last week, and it said Lakers are toast ? And they still haven't turned it around. I mean, look, LaMickey, shout out to you. You might win MVP. He'll probably get some MVP votes. But come on, what are you doing? 3 games under 500 for through midseason for a LeBron team is terrible, especially when you got KD. No, not KD. My bad. AD and Westbrook. Come on, you gotta step it up. If you got a big 3 like that, you gotta be at more than 3 games below 500. That's my humble opinion.
The Nets are falling off because KD's hurt, right?
Yeah, I still have them making it to the Eastern. I still have them as the 1st seed, though. If you look at the Eastern Conference standings, they're really close. They're all the Nets are only 2.5 games out of 1st place.
They're 3.
They're 3,
but
that's nothing if they're 6th. It could go to anybody.
But here's the thing: at home games, they're at a real disadvantage because they only have Harden playing in their star 3.
Yeah, Kyrie, obviously.
Kyrie can play on road games, which is a big help for him. So you would see him in.
If you're the Nets, you almost don't want to get the first seed then.
Yeah, you want to get a low seed so you go on the road more times. So you get Kyrie. You start out the series on the road,
You
and
end
then you also end the series on the road. So
yeah.
really, those deciding games, Kyrie can play.
Yeah.
Thank God,
And I'd just like to say that Aya DeSumo is actually good. He was named on the
Good player.
Rising Stars roster.
It's not that hard to get on the Rising Stars roster.
He's a steal in the second round for the Bulls. I think he's a top 20 rookie right now, maybe even top 15. Obviously, he's not getting the same amount of points as the Josh Giddeys, the Evan Mobleys. I'm not saying he's going to get rookie of the year. I've abandoned that take. I've abandoned
You just said Evan Mobley.
Evan Mobley.
Yeah.
He's leading the Cavs. The Cavs look really good. I've not watched them play, but their record speaks for itself. They are a good young team with Kevin Love at the helm.
Okay. Okay.
Let's
go stats. League leaders.
It's KD.
Points per game is KD, but then it goes Joel Embiid, LeBron, Mickey.
Sixers have been hot.
Yeah, they have.
Shout out to your Sixers fan. You might have to go back to your Philly team.
No, because they disappoint in the playoffs every year. So, nah. Is Io leading in any category?
For rookies? No.
Yeah. Hey, you got Matisse Thybulle, Washington boy.
Yeah.
Averaging 2 steals per game.
I mean, I'm not saying Io's like a rookie of the year. Like, I've abandoned that take. All I'm saying.
Never a take. It was one of the worst take. You couldn't even call it hot. That's how bad the
ice
take
cold.
was.
It was an ice cold take.
That's the thing. Like, ice cold takes usually mean that it's not even a good. It's not even a take that would be hot or should be a take at all. It's just common knowledge. This is just this is
like Inferno bad. Take. It's like a very
horrible.
He's a very good role player, though. A very good role player. He is doing exactly what the Bulls need to do. He is filling that spot for all the injured people and COVID people that they've had this year with Levine, DeRozan, and now Lonzo Ball. I think he's keeping them in that first spot. Like, he's not leading the team in points. He's not doing any of that, but he's keeping them afloat. He's not losing the games for the team. He's hitting clutch shots.
That's it.
What?
3-0. Let's go.
Oh, he's talking about soccer.
Hey, let's go. Kraken are winning.
Let's go.
1-0.
Nice.
1 minute away from primetime college basketball.
Not even prime time.
Illini versus Wisconsin.
I know. So we got some things to talk about. Speaking of college basketball, Illinois finally beat a top 10 team in Michigan State, but they also lost to Maryland. So
Maryland is Maryland. They are one of the worst.
I just don't want to talk about it.
They are 11th in the Big Ten. They are 11-11, 3-8 in their conference play. I'm just so upset about that. But they're going to beat Wisconsin tonight, I believe. It's at home. They got Kofi and Curbelo back, I believe. I think they're going to tear it up. UCLA takes down Arizona in the big Pac-12 battle recently. Kentucky absolutely. I wouldn't even say it was a battle.
Kansas. But yeah, the Kentucky-Kansas game was bad.
All I'm saying is it was not a battle. For how bad the game was, it was not a battle.
Yeah, UCLA kind of just. But UCLA is really good. They're a really good squad. I think, yeah, Johnny Juzang, he's a guy. He's a guy. But so is Kofi Cockburn. Would you like to state your opinion on Kofi Cockburn? He's one of the only people averaging a double-double.
He's good.
Mm-hmm. Would you like the Kings to draft him?
Sure.
Yeah. Is there? I guess we can run down the standings.
Top 25.
Okay. Adios, True. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
No problem. I'll run them down. I'll run down.
For what? Top 25?
Yeah.
I got them up right now. You can run them down if you want. Okay, kid.
Shit.
You want me to just say it?
No. No.
I have them up right now.
Fine.
Okay. You can't pull them up. Actually, are you struggling?
I didn't go to ESPN. You just got to. I'll pull them up on ESPN. I'll pull them up.
You pull them up on ESPN. That's why I went to the NCAA website.
I did not do that. Bro, why is there no college basketball? Where's college basketball?
Search up college basketball.
There it is. Okay, I found it. Standings. Okay. Auburn is not all conferences. I want AP top 25. God damn it. Rankings. Okay, there you go. Rankings. Okay, here we go. AP top 25. Auburn is a stud.
20-1.
Yeah, in the SEC, which is a decent conference. Gonzaga.
They're making SEC teams look very, very bad.
They absolutely obliterated Alabama like a night ago.
Alabama was ranked. Alabama beat Baylor.
Yeah. And then they got absolutely dunked on, literally and figuratively.
Given it was at Auburn's home, but still.
Auburn at 1, Gonzaga at 2, UCLA at 3, Purdue at 4, Kentucky played a hell of a game the other day against Kansas. Houston at 6, Arizona at 7, Baylor at 8, Duke at 9, Kansas at 10, Wisconsin at 11. They're not going to be there for much longer. Villanova at 12, Michigan State at 13, Texas Tech at 14.
Yeah, because they're going up.
Providence at 15, Ohio State at 16, UConn at 17, Illinois at 18, USC at 19, Iowa State at 20, Xavier at 21, Tennessee at 22, Texas at 23, Marquette at 24, and LSU at 25. So that I think honestly, I saw LSU get absolutely dunked on by Alabama though. Like the other day when they choked to Alabama. Alabama isn't ranked. But yeah. And then Kentucky. I mean, I was watching that game and I was like, oh my God. Because it was bad. It was bad early and it got even worse for Kansas. I mean, Kentucky, it was in Kansas too. That's the even crazier part. They beat like Kansas by like 25 in Kansas.
But do you think they deserve to go up 7 spots?
I thought they might go up 2 or 3 after that kind of win, but I think it's fine until they like get disappointed somehow. But yeah, other than that, I think it's fine. I think they're fine. Let's move on to baseball, Finn. This is really depressing. I don't know if I'm unboxing the hat and that's the only thing keeping me through this.
Yeah.
It looks like we're missing spring training. 2 weeks ago, we had 2 meetings on Monday and Tuesday. We had a meeting yesterday, Tuesday.
The progress was getting made.
There was no progress made. It was a very disappointing meeting, apparently, and it looks like spring training will be delayed, and ultimately the season will be delayed, which my heart hurts because, our squad, the Seattle Mariners, we're going to win a World Series this year.
Yeah, and we are.
I just can't wait for the Mariners to sign Chris Bryant once the lockout's over. That's all. That's all I'm excited about.
It's going to be Chris Bryant.
All right, I need a rant about this. I mean, this has been cool. This cooled off for a while. Obviously, I've been mainly focused on football, but like baseball writers, like what are you doing? Like, come on. Like Big Papi's the only guy that gets in on that ballot. Like that's absolute, like, I don't want to say the full word, but that's like BS. Like, come on. Like you can't
come on, man.
Like everybody on that ballot was doing steroids, but Big Papi wasn't even close to the best player, like on steroids on that ballot. Barry Bonds obviously should have got in. Roger Clemens obviously should have gotten in. I mean, I get it, steroids. A-Rod, obvious. I know we talk a ton of crap about A-Rod, but if you look at his numbers, they are 1,000 times better than Big Poppy's. And I think the character clause honestly hurt them. Obviously, everybody loves Big Poppy. Even
also,
though
I think Alex Rodriguez doing steroids since the start of high school hurt him too.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of an issue for A-Rod, but I mean, everybody on this ballot is doing steroids. And I heard shout out to Big Cat at Part of My Take. He was talking about how everybody was doing like cocaine and I don't know the word, but like cocaine and those kind of drugs to like kind of speed your brain up. And I mean, a lot of those pitchers were going 300 innings and nobody's like, oh, they were doing, and they were like, those aren't performance enhancing. But I mean, you threw 300 innings. I mean, like, come on. Like, nobody does that unless you're like on drugs, and they were on drugs and then they got into the Hall of Fame. And I just think it's a whole deal. I think baseball writers need to get over themselves. And I think they just need to let these guys in. And obviously, I mean, come on, Barry Bonds, like, you can make an argument, like, he's one, like, if you don't think of steroids as that big of a deal, he is the best baseball player of all time. And there is no, I don't personally believe that, but he is arguably the best baseball player of all time. But I mean, Finn, what did you think about the whole situation?
You know, would I have voted Barry Bonds in? Maybe. A-Rod would have not gotten a vote. I'll tell you that. He does not deserve to be in. Barry Bonds, you know, I'll admit he probably deserved to be in, you know.
He was so good before he started taking steroids.
You know, some of those guys on the ballot did deserve to be in. A-Rod, I say, still does not deserve to be in. He was doing steroids way before.
Big Poppy was doing steroids in the early 2000s. And people are like, well, it was legal then. But it was legal when Barry Bonds was doing it too. And it's just, people. Sorry. I got very upset about this, like, for like a good day or two. So. Finn, you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. Finn, you ready to unbox the Rocket City Trash Pandas hat?
Let's go. Yes, we
Let's
are.
go. Sadly, we didn't get the jumbo shrimp hat. That might be coming soon, but I don't think so.
Maybe the jumbo shrimp got you.
Maybe I got by the jumbo shrimp. I don't think I did.
Did you resolve it finally, bud?
Yes, I did resolve it though. I resolved my issue.
$20 is back
Finn,
in.
why don't you start talking about the Australian Open though while I'm opening this?
Okay. Well, I was watching it, you know. My favorite, Keys, did not win, you know. Got eliminated by the champion, though. So we'll take that. Goff, all I'm going to say is got beaten.
Goff is not my favorite tennis player.
Goff absolutely got destroyed, and it was embarrassing.
Obviously,
watching.
Naomi Osaka, my personal favorite women's tennis player. I know she's not technically, she doesn't compete under the American flag, but she's a cool person. She's got her own she's got like other like things going on in the world, other business ventures. But yeah, she kind of got absolutely dunked on. And I think it was the second round or the third round where she got absolutely obliterated. Yeah. Shout out to Keys, an American. The Australian won the Australian Open, and Nadal won the men's, which isn't surprising. But I mean, we know Djokovic, if he wouldn't have gotten deported, he would have won.
Nadal wipes.
Oh, come on.
Who's more of a baby when they lose?
Who's more of a what?
Baby when they lose.
Djokovic, but
yeah,
that's the goat. That's the goat gene.
No, that's the crybaby gene when they don't get their way.
The minor league baseball logo. 7 3/8 my hat size. If anybody wants to send me a hat.
No one's sending you a hat, bud.
Oh, I look bald. I look absolutely bald. But shout out to the Rocket City Trash Pandas, Madison, Alabama, AA team of the Los Angeles Angels. We had a lot to talk about anyways today, so we're not gonna do a minor league team today because baseball. After the Super Bowl, we might, but the lockout might be resolved by then. So I don't know.
Finn, you want to talk by then?
Finn, you want to talk about the lockout might be resolved, but I doubt it. But Finn, you want to talk about whatever? Isn't it the World Cup qualifiers? Obviously, go Neymar. Go Neymar.
I'll try and run down everyone's standings right now.
Just tell us how America's doing. We don't need everybody, but just tell us how America, the most important country in this conversation.
They are doing pretty good. They're in second place. The top three, they are in the CONCACAF, which is for their qualifiers, there's 8 teams. The top 3 teams automatically go to the World Cup. So right now they're in second. But if they get fourth, they go into a playoff to see who goes into the World Cup. So they could have 4 potential teams go in. Right now, they are in second, just behind Canada with 21 points. But fourth is not very far off, only 4 points away. And with a Panama win, Mexico would be in fourth and Panama would be in third. There's still, after this game, a few more games to be played. So if they win here, it would be very, very helpful. But they still have 3 more games after this in March to decide where, if they go to the World Cup. There will be 2. All 3 matches are basically pivotal, very important. But Mexico, U.S., and Panama, U.S. are very, very important. A win over Mexico and a win over Panama will ensure they definitely go through, which would be very, very helpful for the U.S., especially after not making it last World Cup. So that would be very helpful.
So we kind of forgot something when we were doing the NBA. We forgot to talk about the All-Star starters, which Wiggins is probably the most controversial one. But in the Eastern Conference, you got Giannis, DeMar DeRozan, KD, Joel, Embiid, and then Trae Young. And then in the Western, you have Steph Curry, LeBron, Jokic, Ja Morant is he's a guy. He should have done the slam dunk contest. Then you have Andrew Wiggins. Obviously Andrew Wiggins. I'm just, as a Warriors fan, I think that's a bit stupid. I don't know who you put in there at the forward position. I don't know basketball that well, but I don't think that should be Wiggins in there because he hasn't played that much this season, and also he's not probably the best forward.
Like they said, fan voting is one of the worst things to go off of. And since he got a K-pop star recognizing him, saying it's about time Andrew Wiggins should get in, he's good enough to. All the K-pop fans voted for him, and he is in.
So yeah.
If he was a bench player, maybe that's respectable, but an all-star starter is just way too crazy.
Clay almost became a starter.
Yeah, but Clay is Klay Thompson, okay? First off, everyone would have been outraged if – actually, no one would have been outraged if Clay got in because it's Clay, but I would have been because he played how many games?
He's played like 10 games.
Yeah. And when did the voting start?
It started before it started. He was second in voting at some point, and he had only played a game or 2.
Yeah. So that just shows how
great fan base for the Golden State Warriors. I mean, I've hopped on the bandwagon myself. Let's go Warriors. But
Warriors suck.
But yeah, we probably should get out of here. I gotta skedaddle. I gotta get to baseball practice here pretty soon. Finn's gotta get to basketball practice because both of us are balling out at each of our sports.
Yeah.
I just
One
like
is
to give
the sport they will play, but
I'd like to give a shout out to Kenzie Peck on this podcast. I know he doesn't watch it. I know not very many people watch it, but I just like him I'd just like to let him know that he stinks at basketball and he lost to me 11-3.